Read this for me again. Read this for me again. You got 5 seconds.
Where do you want me to start from? 44? No one? Okay, it is written in the prophets, and they shall all be taught by God. Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me.
Let me ask the question a second time. If you do not hear from the Father and learn from the Father, will he draw you to Christ?
No.
Why'd you say probably not?
I don't know. I shouldn't have said probably. Should have said no.
Okay. So why didn't the Father draw these Jews to Jesus?
Because they weren't listening or learning.
That's the answer.
Okay.
See how simple that was?
Yes. Not because it's predestined.
No, because God had been speaking to his people through their prophets. And what was their response? Rejection, rebellion,
Right.
stiff-necked, hard-hearted, disbelief, right?
Yes.
So God now hands them over to their unbelief and will not bring them to the Son because they did not listen to the Father, did not hear the Father as he taught them through the prophetic word, and therefore because they rejected the testimony of the Father, what point would there be to bring them to Christ when they would reject Christ because they've already rejected what God had already made known to them?
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
This is why Jesus says, no one can come to him unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I'll raise him up last day. But who does the Father draw to the Son? He who hears and learns from the Father comes to me.
Right.
So if you're not learning, hearing, listening to the Father, will he bring you to Christ?
No.
So where's Calvinism here?
Right.
Daniel, if I go to 65, it's going to be your burial too, right? You know that, right, Daniel? Not you, the other guy, because he thinks 65. Daniel, you understand that if I bring in 65, that's going to bear you worse? Because why? Let's see Daniel how well. Let me bring up Daniel, see how well he knows John 6. Hold on, because this guy just ran off his mouth.
Okay.
I want to see how much he knows. Daniel, you there?
Hello?
Yeah. What's the context of 65?
Verse 64, but there are some of you who do not believe, for Jesus knew from the beginning who they were who
you see how that buried you right there?
Oh, his knowledge?
Yeah, because right there it told you that the reason why the Father didn't grant them to the Son is because they were not believing.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you misquote 65 and take it out of context?
Oh, no, a Calvinist brought that up to me. I wasn't sure.
Tell me you're trying to refute the Calvinists, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not on their side. I was just...
I didn't know that, Dan. How do I know? You're just popping out of nowhere. Okay. Reread it again.
Okay.
There were some of what?
It said there were some of you who do not believe.
So then what?
For Jesus knew from the beginning who they were who did not believe and who it was that would betray him.
So does that sound like Jesus saying, because Jesus knew who was predestined to believe?
Right. Yeah. It says he knew them, or he knew it in advance. Not that he necessarily...
What in advance? Astaghfirullah.
Oh, he knew who was going to believe and then who was going to betray him.
He knew who was going to believe.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, right, because he has divine foreknowledge, right? So he's going to know.
I know. You know, I'm going to send you to Mike Winger. You just twisted the text. You said he knew who was going to believe. My version says he knew those who would not believe.
Not believe.
What version? I like your version because it takes away words from the Bible. So can you give me your version? How old are you, Daniel?
25.
Oh my goodness. I'm starting now to expand the age group of people I'm going to block right when I hear their age. Why did you say he knew who would believe? The text says he knew those who did not believe.
Oh, I misread it.
No. Come on. Let's see if you get it, Daniel. One more time, brother. Oh man, I
Right,
gotta
it's-
stop Q&As. I think I'm gonna stop Q&As for 5 years now. You guys, man, I don't understand what's going on. So why did the Father not grant them to the Son? 65. What was the answer given?
because there are some of you who do not believe, because he knew from the beginning who they were who did not believe, and who it was that would betray him.
Oh, does it say because he knew from the beginning who were predestined unto belief?
No,
No.
So where do you get Calvinism out of this?
you don't.
Exactly. So this is the point. If we do not read these verses in light of John Calvin or Lucifer Calvin and Jamila White, we're told there is no point of the Father drawing those whom he knows who will not respond and believe the revelation anyway.
Right.
That's not Calvinism.
Right.
That's biblical teaching that
Yep.
you're not so dead in sin as to be unable, due to the conviction of the Spirit, to then realize the truth and then yield to the Spirit or resist the Spirit. But the Father, already knowing these individuals will not truly believe.
Yes.
But this makes no sense in light of Calvinism, because in Calvinism, they're already dead in sin and cannot believe.
Right. Yep.
So how does this make sense in light of Calvinism?
It doesn't.
Exactly. That's why I'm not a Calvinist.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so glad both of you came up because you're both having issues with Calvinism. Okay, so you see, when I take my Calvinist lens off, these verses are not Calvinism. These verses are simply stating a fact. The Jews whom the Father had been reaching with the revelation through the prophets persistently rejected, denied, persecuted, and or killed the prophets, showing an unwillingness to submit to the conviction of the Spirit, knowing that the Father does not draw them, because what point is there to draw those who don't believe and won't believe and don't want to believe?
Right.
How is this Calvinism?
It's not.
Exactly. Now, Judas is an argument against them. Now, I'm going to show you how you use Judas to be a nightmare. But again, if you go here, I hope you guys are not asleep in the comment section. I'm the one who's fried. You go to soteriology. I'm going to show you now Judas is a nightmare for them. Because though Judas, Jesus knew, would betray him, you're going to see Jesus' desire to save Judas. Why? If Calvinism is true. Well, we'll see. And I go here and I do John 6:65. Oh, wow. What do we see? John 6:44-65. Oh, wow. And it's covered under John 6:44 because they go hand in hand. Oh, wow. The John said, oh, golly, gee. We got it?
Yep.
That's it. Now, let me show you how Judas destroys Calvinism. You ready?
Mhm.
Judas was one of the arguments the Lord showed me proving Calvinism is from the pit of hell. How Judas Iscariot refutes Calvinism. See that?
Yep.
All right. Let me share it to you in a private chat. Okay. Remember, according to Calvinism, you're dead in sin and capable of choosing God until the Holy Spirit makes you alive, right?
Yes.
According to certain forms of Calvinism. That's the
Right.
Jamila White Calvinism, the Matt Not So Slick, the demonized buffoon Calvinism. All right. Therefore, Judas is born dead in sin and capable of choosing Christ. And on top of that, according to the 5 points of Calvinism, Jesus only comes to die for the elect. And Judas is not part of the elect, right?
According
Right?
to, yes.
All right.
According to Calvinism.
Yes. Now, watch here. Let's go through this. John 6:70-71. Jesus answered them, did I not choose you, the 12? One of you is a devil. So he's saying, I chose Judas. But did he choose him because he's a devil? Or he chose him in spite of him being a devil? And if he chose him in spite of being a devil, why? Let's see why. He spoke of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for it was he who would betray him, being one of the 12. Did he choose him in spite of the fact, knowing he'd be of the devil and reject him? If so, why? Well, here's why. Let's see. Luke 22:19-23. And when he had taken some bread and given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, "This is my body, which is given for you." Now notice, all who are present, right? He's saying all of you, correct?
Right.
Okay, keep that in mind. Guys, let me get you the article for the rest. Oh, I did. I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent it already.
Yeah, I sent it to everyone else. Everyone else got it? Okay. Follow with me, guys, as we unpack this. "Do this in remembrance of me." And in the same way, he took the cup after they had eaten, saying, "This cup, which is poured out for you," right?
Yeah.
He doesn't exclude anyone, does he?
No.
"Is the new covenant of my blood. But behold, the hand of the one betraying me is with mine on the table." Wait. Judas was there? Was Judas there, guys? I mean, I can't read your hearts. I know you think I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm not that great.
That was Judas he's talking about.
Judas was there?
Yes.
Daniel thinks we can read him through his mute.
My bad. Sorry. Yeah, Judas was there.
So wait, you mean Judas heard Jesus saying, "I'm breaking my body for you"?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he heard Jesus saying, "This cup is poured out for you"?
Yes.
But according to limited atonement, Christ died only for the elect, and Judas is not the elect. He didn't die for him.
Mm-hmm.
So why is Jesus dying for Judas? "For indeed, the Son of Man is going as it has been determined. He'll be betrayed. But woe to that man by whom he's betrayed." And they began to discuss among themselves which of one of them it might be who is going to do this thing. All right, now, some people are still not convinced. By the way, I show that when Jesus doesn't want to include everyone, he can use exclusive language. Like he says, "You are clean, but not all of you. Not all of you are clean. I don't know. I don't speak about." See, he could have qualified it. Here he doesn't. He says, "Broken for you, poured out for you." And then to highlight the travesty and the heinous nature of Judas's betrayal, "Even the one that I died for and I will shed my blood for to save, even this one who I go out of my way, how does he repay me? By betraying me."
Right.
To show the heinous nature of his sin. All right, well, let's put that aside. And by the way, I quote people who admit that Judas was there. It's because, the Calvinists say, "No, Judas wasn't there." What? From Luke's account, it appears most clear that Judas was not only at the Passover, but at the Lord's Supper, since this was said when both were over. See? Let's tell you, "Oh, no, you can't be because, Lucifer Calvin and Jamila White, they're right." Yeah, shut the hell up. All right. Now watch here. They even try to get around this. Luke 10, verse 1, 17 to 30. "After these things, the Lord appointed 70 others also," meaning not only 12, he appointed 70. Now, does that include the 12? Or is it 70 plus the 12 for 82? Whatever it is. "Sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place where he himself was about to go. Then the 70 returned with joy, saying, 'Lord, even the demons are subject to us in your name.'" Okay, notice, the group has been given authority, power by Jesus to cast out demons, raise the dead, heal the sick, and preach the good news. We're going to see Judas is one of those. We'll see. "And he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Behold, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing shall by any means hurt you. Nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven."
Mm-hmm.
Judas's name is written in heaven?
Wow.
Right.
You know what the Calvinists will tell you? They're desperate. No, this is not referring to the 12. It's referring to the 70. So then I asked them, then where were the 12? They're not there? Where, they went to Hawaii? No, they'll tell you that. No. The 70 doesn't include the 12. It's referring to the 70. I go, no, I don't care whether you think the 70 include the 12 or not. It says they returned to him wherever he was. They came to where he was. So unless you believe that when the 70 came, the 12 were not there, but they went to Hawaii, They're all present when Jesus says, rejoice all of you, for your names are written in heaven.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So how does a Calvinist explain if Jesus only died for the elect who are already foreordained by God and not everyone's elect, the fact that Jesus is telling Judas his name is written in heaven? And here I call Darrell L. Bach, a noted New Testament scholar, that he says that the 12 are included among the 72. But even if you say they're not, they returned to Jesus. That means they would have been there, and the 12 would have been there as well.
Right.
And to prove that Judas is included, what authority did he give the 70 to do? To do what? To
Cast out demons.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Did Judas have the power to cast out demons? Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Matthew 10, verses 1 and 10. And when he had called his 12 disciples to him, he gave them power over unclean spirits
Yes.
to cast them out, to heal all kinds of sickness and all kinds of disease. And then it gives the name. And among them, Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him.
Right.
He tells them, go preach the kingdom of heaven is at hand, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So Judas, his name is written in heaven.
Mhm.
Jesus says he's breaking his body, shedding his blood for Judas. But hold on. It's going to get worse. You ready? Matthew 19, 27 and 30. Matthew 19, 27 and 30. Okay, watch, guys. Hope you're not falling asleep. Hope you're listening. Then Peter answered and said to him, see, we have left all and followed you. Therefore, what shall we have? So Jesus said to them, surely I say to you, that in the regeneration, when the Son of Man sits on the throne of his glory, you have followed me, will sit also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Why 12 thrones?
12 apostles.
But who was one of the 12 apostles?
Judas.
Yeah, Judas was still there. Why is Jesus saying, you too, Judas, have a throne
Thrown in.
assigned for you?
Wow. Yep.
Can anyone explain that to me?
Not from Calvinist eyes, no.
So this means Jesus wanted even Judas to be saved, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Jesus died for Judas.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus told Judas, your name is already in heaven. And you follow me, you will sit on a throne, reigning with me in the age to come. What happened? If his name's written in heaven, what happened? His name was blotted out.
Right.
Revelation
Right.
3:5. Here it is. What does Jesus say? If you don't overcome, right here, watch here. Watch here. Revelation 3:5, he who overcomes shall be clothed in white garments, and I will not blot out his name from the book of life, but I'll confess his name before my Father and before his angels. What if you don't overcome? Then what happens?
Your name is blotted out of the book of
Blotted
life. Yeah.
And here's the proof.
Mhm.
Exodus 32:33. What does God say to Moses? And the Lord said to Moses, whoever sinned against me, I will blot him out of my book.
Right.
And again, Psalm 69, 27, 28. And add iniquity to their iniquity. Let them not come into your righteousness. Let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with righteousness. For their names to be blotted out, it means it's written in.
Right.
Why was it written in if God knows he's going to blot it out? Because to show you God's desire wasn't for them to be blotted out or to be destroyed, but he desired even for them to be saved.
And them to be saved. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this support Calvinism? I'm still waiting to see.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if that answered your question, Donnie, or Danny. Is it Donnie? Yeah, Donnie.
Danny, yeah.
Danny?
Yeah, no, it answers exactly what I kind of felt inside, right? And I was trying to explain that, but I just didn't know what scripture to go to back it up. What I felt inside.
Yep. And the Spirit confirmed you're right. That's why I left Calvinism. There's nothing for you in Calvinism.
Right.
Avoided like the plague. So that answered you. Now, Donald, what questions do you have? I guess it's not related to Calvinism, is it?
No. So I this morning I was speaking with a Bible skeptic who brought up an apparent contradiction to me. I really tried my best to explain it, but
Uh,
I couldn't get around it. But it's Genesis 22 verse 1 and James 1:13, and he actually brought me to the interlinear to show me that
you know,
the
it's the
words.
same word. That's a stupid argument.
Yeah, but he was saying like, obviously James 1:13 says, "Let no one say when he is tempted, I'm being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one." And so he told me, although in Genesis 22 the word tempt is not used, the word
The Greek would be the same. I know the argument. Get to the
Yeah.
section. Yeah.
right. So he was telling me, well, two things are happening. God is testing, right? Testing Abraham, and he's tempting him to do something that is forbidden in the Old Testament, human sacrifice.
Where
Yeah.
does it say when God appeared to Abraham that he forbids human sacrifice? You're reading a later law,
Mhm.
Moses, into a earlier period. So my first challenge, pretend you're him. Can you show me where God had forbidden human sacrifice prior to the giving of the law of Moses?
Right. And I would say, personally, prior to the law of Moses, that's not forbidden yet. Or it hasn't.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to catch him in his duplicity and dishonesty.
Mhm.
So number one, you read into the time of Abraham, a later prohibition. Where can you show me that prior to the giving of the law at Sinai to the Israelites, God had made it explicitly clear, no human sacrifice?
Mm.
Answer. Go ahead. Pretend you're him.
Oh,
Well, you got to pretend you're him. I'm not answering.
right.
Like I can read his point.
I would just say, I don't know if I was him.
Yeah, because it's not there. Secondly, let me explain what I mean, so you understand.
Okay.
The law of Moses in Leviticus 18 and 20 forbids marrying sisters, right?
Mhm.
The daughters of your father, right?
Right.
Well, Abraham married his half sister.
Oh, yeah.
Genesis 20, 12 to 13. Besides, she actually is my sister, daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And it happened when God caused me to wander from my father's house that I said to her, this is the loving kindness which you will show to me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother. So right there, God allowed Abraham to marry his father's daughter, his sister, explicitly forbidden in Leviticus 18 and 20. So why is he reading back at the time of Abraham a later prohibition? So that's the first way I'd catch this guy who thinks he's slick. Okay, that's number one. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Now, what's ironic, he quoted James, right?
Yes.
All right. You mean the same James who uses the example of Abraham offering Isaac to show that Abraham had true faith and saw no tension between what he just wrote in James 1:13 and James 2:21-24?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, man.
Here, James 1:13. Let no one say when he's tempted, I'm being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. Oh, then you mean the same James who then says, James 2:21-24, was not Abraham our father justified by works when he offered up Isaac his son on the altar? You mean the same James who said God doesn't tempt you with evil, who then uses Abraham offering up Isaac as proof that he had true faith that justifies faith and works and saw no contradiction?
Wow.
Come on, skeptic, refute me.
I mean, wow, I didn't see that. I did not see that.
You see that faith was working with his works, and as a result of the works, faith was perfected. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, and Abraham believed God and was counted to him as righteousness. And he was called the friend of God. You see that a man is justified by works, not by faith alone. So how can James 1:13 be used to show a contradiction? Genesis 22, because God doesn't tempt you with evil, but God supposedly tempted Abraham to do evil, when the one who told me God doesn't tempt with evil, James, used Abraham offering Isaac as a proof that Abraham was righteous son of God, not that God contradicts himself. How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Would you say that he might come back at me and say, well, then why did God condemn human sacrifice at all then?
Because in the story of Abraham, he is condemning it if he wasn't stupid. That was my other point.
He is. Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, I see what you're saying. He is because he stopped him.
You got it. That's the point of the test.
Yeah.
I'm going to break it down for you right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thirdly, the very testing of Abraham was to show that God does not accept human sacrifices because he's not like the gods of the pagans. It's meant to teach the opposite point, that God is a God who will never allow someone to do evil and tempt someone to do evil. Not that he's tempting him to evil. He was teaching him his character. So now you want me to unpack it?
Sure.
So in other words, what's ironic, he thought this shows that God does tempt people with evil when it's the opposite point. The point of Genesis 2:22 is to show, I am not like the gods of the nations who demand child sacrifice, because that's evil. So I'm going to show you the kind of God I am and my character. But it was also meant to show Abraham, are you willing to do for me what the pagans do for their gods? You understand the point?
Yeah.
What is God? Now, I hope you guys are listening. This is going to be brought up, but if you guys are asleep and not listening, and I bored you, let me know, because I want you to hear this objection. The point of Genesis 22 is manifold. There's many things that God is teaching us in this chapter. Many. And it's pointing to Jesus Christ, okay? Okay, what is God teaching Abraham?
Right. So he's teaching Abraham that human sacrifice is wrong.
You're trying too hard to chime in. Zipthelip.com, and we don't want to hear your opinion. I just want you guys to listen. Okay, say it again, brother.
So God is teaching Abraham, because there's so many pagans around him who do this, that human sacrifice is wrong, even prior to the law of Moses.
Yep. But he's also trying to show him a lot. Number one, Abraham, are you willing to do for me what the pagans are willing to do for their gods? In other words, the pagans love their gods so much that they're willing to kill their own children to show they love the gods more than their children. Are you willing to sacrifice your son because you love me more than your son? Are you willing to go out of your way to show me the same love that the pagans do for their false gods? And Abraham said yes. That's number one. So he demonstrated he loves the giver of gifts and not just the gift. And he loves the giver of gifts more than the gift, because who gave him Isaac?
Sarah, right? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Who was it? There was a different wife, right? It was hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on.
God.
Isaac.
He's got to Google it.
God.
No, wasn't it Sarah? Okay, I found it. I think it was Sarah.
Who gave him Isaac, brother? Who gave him Isaac? How old are you, brother? You said 25, right?
Yep.
Yeah, 15 and 25 will be on my age range. Who gave him Isaac, brother?
God.
God gave Isaac to Abraham and Sarah because it was a miracle, because she was barren prior to that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, are you blonde? Are you blonde, brother?
No, I'm a brunette.
Okay, just tell people you're blonde, please. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Who gave Abraham Isaac?
God.
Yes. You even hesitated. You got scared again. Okay. You sure God gave? Does Sarah have a child at the age of 90 when she's barren if God didn't do a miracle?
It was absolutely a miracle. That was God's intervention.
Who gave Isaac to Abraham?
God.
Okay. So what is the test? Will you love me, the giver of the gifts, more than the gift that I gave you?
Right.
And Abraham passed the test. Yes. I love you more than Isaac, and I'm willing to kill Isaac to show you that I love you more than him. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's number one. Number one, I want you guys listening to the themes without this guy coughing in my ears.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it's my fault for you coughing. It's me. It's always my fault. Okay. Number one, I want you to understand the points that God is bringing out. Number one, do you, Abraham, love me just as much, if not more so, than the pagan gods love their gods? The pagans love their gods. I'm sorry. If so, are you willing to do for me what they do for their gods? They're willing to kill their children for gods and goddesses that are demons, that are false. Will you be willing to give up your son as a sacrifice to me? Abraham says yes. That's number one. He passed the test. So number two, in stopping him from killing Isaac, he then taught him, you don't need to worry about sacrificing your children because I'm not that kind of God. Do you understand the point?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read verse 10 all the way to 12. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. He said, do not stretch out your hand against the boy and nothing to him, and do nothing. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. You passed the test. Moreover, you do not harm the lad, because now I'm going to let you know something else about me that you're not aware. I will never be that kind of God who demands you kill your children to appease me, because that is horrendous. So Abraham learned two lessons, didn't he? Lesson number one, if you're listening, you cannot love anything more than God or as much as God. You must be willing to give up everything for God, because you wouldn't have what you have if God didn't give it to you. Everyone listening?
Yes.
Yep.
Number two, I am not that kind of God who will ever demand of you to slaughter your children to appease me, because I hate human sacrifice. I hate the murder, the shedding of innocent blood, the murder of children. I am not that kind of God. The gods who demand such sacrifices are not gods, they're demons. So is it ironic that what he thought was a contradiction actually confirms that God will never tempt you to do something evil?
Wow.
Did it make sense, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
But thirdly, here's where you're going to see that this also points to Jesus. Okay, watch here. You go, well, now we're going to go a little deeper here. I hope you guys are not going to sleep here. This is stuff I don't think you're going to be hearing in church anytime soon. I hope everyone's listening. Now, who cried out from heaven? Watch. The angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice it doesn't say the Lord from heaven. The angel's in heaven, and he's calling out from heaven, right? Right?
Right.
Now watch it. Then the angel of Yahweh, 15 to 18, called to Abraham a second time from heaven. Now heaven is God's throne. You would think that God would speak from heaven, but it's the angel speaking. And he said, by myself I have sworn, declares Yahweh. So now the angel is telling what Yahweh says. Because you have done this thing and not spared your son, your only son, indeed I will greatly bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have listened to my voice. So now, Abraham, I'm going to make you great, and I'm going to make sure that the blessing of all the nations comes from your seed. Now watch how this is going to point to Christ. Okay? But who's speaking? The angel. Now watch what the angel said again. But the angel of Yahweh called to him from heaven. Abraham, Abraham! He said, here I am. He said, do not stretch out your hand against the boy and do nothing to him. Now watch. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. You guys caught it? Did you catch it?
Oh.
Yeah.
You were willing to sacrifice your son for me, meaning you love me more than your son. Who? Me, the angel of Yahweh.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I never noticed that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Do you know why? Because this angel is not a creature. That's Jesus Christ. He's the messenger of the Father. He's the one who appears in the Old Testament, the angel of Yahweh. Everyone got it?
Yep.
You got it, right? Now, how does this point to Christ? Yahweh and the angel of Yahweh, Abraham and his son. Okay, now let me show you how it points to Christ. You ready for this? Who's ready? Who's not ready? Come on, I can't read your hearts.
I'm ready.
أعوذ بالله محمد الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. All right. Okay, we're going to have to go through all this. You ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, Mark 1. Okay, let's go here. Watch how this is going to get deeper if you guys are listening. If you're not listening, then you're wasting your time. Watch here. Genesis, not only the promised land. Watch. Now it happened after these things that God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham, and he said, here I am. Then he said, take now your son, your only son whom you love. Notice, two descriptions of Isaac. Your only son whom you love. Okay, let's see who Jesus is. Okay, your only son whom you love, right? Righty then. And here it says, by faith, Hebrews 11:17, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was offering up his only son. Now the word only son here, monogenes. I'm going to show you that in the Greek in a minute. Who is Jesus? Mark 1:11. And a voice came out of the heavens, you are my beloved son, and you I'm well pleased. Like Isaac, Jesus is God's beloved son. And like Isaac, Jesus is the only son. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. Okay? See the connection between Isaac and Jesus?
Yeah.
See, all right. Now watch in Hebrews 11:17. What's the word used for Isaac being Abraham's only son?
Monogenes.
Yep. Now why is that term relevant? We'll see. Right here it says ton monogeny, only begotten son. That's Isaac. Hebrews 11:17, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I click here and look where it appears. John 3:16. He gave his only begotten son. Wiyun ton monogeny. Right? And also appears here about Jesus. 1 John 4:9. Autu ton monogeny. So you seeing? Isaac and Jesus are monogenes. Master Doc, tell your whore mother we're coming for her, right? Because we're going to mount her. And like your uncle mounted you, because you're a whore like your mother. On you and your ancestors, you filthy bastard. Son of a Shia prostitute. Anyway, sorry about that. This whore is manifesting because he's jealous that I don't mount him like his uncle does. Right? Now, you listening?
Yep.
I pray I see you now in the next hour, brother, because I'll send you where Muhammad is, who's burning in hell like a dog. Okay, now, Isaac and Jesus are monogeny, right?
Yes.
Only begotten. And they're both the beloved son of their fathers, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, now watch now. You are to offer him in one of the mountains of Moriah, correct? Go to the forth to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I will tell you. Now, what day does he arrive at the mountain? Verse 4. On the third day.
Third day.
Wow.
What day?
The third day.
What day does God spare Isaac from being killed?
On the third day.
What day does Abraham receive his son back?
Wow.
What day?
The third day.
What day does God receive his son back from the dead?
The third day.
Third day.
Isaac is a type of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
On the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. And Abraham said to his young man, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. Now notice what he says something. What he says here that's interesting. We will worship. We will return to you. He's saying, the boy and I will return to you. But wait, is he lying? Because he knows he's going to kill the boy. Jerby, you've been with me for several years. I've done 10 million sessions on Genesis 22. When are you finally going to get it so you can teach people stop being a loser all your life? All right. So was he lying when he said, we will return to you? How is he going to return with the son? He's going to go kill him.
Go kill him.
Wow. So he is promising him, like, you're gonna still have your son.
Yeah, police is on the way, right? Is your mother joining them? Because I want them to mount her. Say it again.
No, so he is promising him that he will keep his son.
Yes, because Abraham knew God swore Isaac would be the line from which his descendants would be numbered. And Abraham knew the character of God. He knew God cannot lie. And because he cannot lie, if he's going to have me kill Isaac, but he's already told me Isaac is the one from whom my line will continue, then he's going to bring him back from the dead.
Yep.
Let me show you that. Okay, where did Abraham get that? Okay, let's see.
Wow.
Watch how it's going to point to Christ. This tells you the faith of Abraham. Why do you think he's called the father of the faithful? Because he knew God and he trusted God and he loved God and glorified God, right? Worshiped God, right? And knowing his God was perfectly holy and just, righteous and pure, loving and compassionate, and could not lie, he knew that since he told me Isaac is the one, and he made us wait 25 years and then gave us Isaac, for me to then kill him without having children, God's going to do a miracle and bring him back to life, because he cannot lie to me and won't break his promise.
Right.
See, he knew the character of his God.
Mm-hmm.
You with me there?
Yeah.
You with me? Now, where did he get that promise? Genesis 17, 19 and 21. But God said, no, but Sarah, your wife, will bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. It won't be Ishmael, it'll be Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant for his seed after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall become the father of 12 princes. I'll make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this season next year. Now notice what he says. This is a covenant for Isaac's seed after him.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Isaac's seed after him.
Yeah.
You with me there?
Yes.
But when God told Abraham to kill your son, he had no seed.
So he's letting him know in advance his promises throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, he told him right there before Isaac was born, because Isaac wasn't born yet.
Right.
He goes, Isaac's seed after him. But then when God told Abraham, kill Isaac, he had no seed.
Right.
So what does that mean?
God keeps his promises.
So then how's Abraham going to have his line continue through Isaac if Isaac's going to be killed? How's that going to happen? And he's got no children.
It wouldn't.
But Abraham knew God can't lie.
Right.
So when Abraham says, we will return to you, he wasn't lying. So what did he reason? See if you're getting it. What did he reason?
That the Lord would raise Isaac back
You got it. And when he'd raise him up, what day would that be?
on the third day. Yep.
So a type of Christ, the Son of God being raised on a third day, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Now, where do we get this insight from? Hebrews 11, 17, 19. Watch here. Let's go now to Hebrews 11, 17, 19. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises, sorry guys, my throat, pray for me, was offering up his only son. To whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called. See, he knew it. He considered, he reasoned, God cannot lie to me. He's faithful, he's good, he's never failed me. I know him, I know he's reliable. Therefore, he's putting me to the test. that if I kill Isaac, he's going to raise him back from the dead to keep his promise. He
Yes.
considered that God is able to raise people even from the dead.
Yep.
See, he believed in a resurrection.
Yes.
He believed that a resurrection was going to take place.
Mm.
And then it says, from which, figuratively speaking, he also received them back. What does that mean? As far as Abraham was concerned, Isaac was as good as dead. So when God spared him, it's like he spared him from death by raising him back to life.
Yes.
But what day did he do it?
On the third day.
Which is a picture of Christ. So God was presenting him the gospel.
Yes.
You see it?
Yes.
Now let's go deeper and show you the gospel. Okay. So we got all those points, right?
Yep.
Now let me show you how this all points to Christ. Now remember, like Isaac, Jesus is the only begotten of his Father. Like Isaac, Jesus is the beloved of his Father. Now watch the connections again. We're going to go a little more deeper. Okay. Ready here? Let's do here. All right. This is why your Bible's supernatural. So this guy that thought he had an argument against the Bible, it just turned out it backfired and buried him, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now watch here. Let's finish it. Let's finish it here. Notice what Isaac says and what Isaac is carrying. Then Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and put it on Isaac, his son. So who carried the wood that we used to execute him?
Isaac.
Abraham.
Let's try it again, mister.
Oh,
No.
sorry.
Isaac.
Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering, put it on Isaac, his son.
Isaac.
Who carried the wood that we used to execute him?
Isaac carried it.
Dude, can you relax? This guy was slower than you. We're
Oh,
waiting.
sorry. Okay.
Dude, I know you need attention, dude. Dan, you want to answer before the rapture?
Abraham.
Let's try it again. Man, if I find you, I'm going to lay hands on you to bless you, knock the stupid out of you. Abraham took the wood, put it on Isaac, his son. Who carried the wood?
Isaac.
You're just saying it because you're scared. You blind? Who carried the wood?
Abraham he took the wood of the burnt offering and put it on Isaac, his son.
And what did Isaac do? Went surfing on it? Then who carried it when it was put on him?
Yeah, Isaac carried it because he took it up the mountain and they walked up together.
You're slower than Muhammad and Aisha. Of course, if I say, here, son, here's the wood,
Mhm.
because I just cut a piece of wood and I gave it to you. Why would you think I'm carrying it if I give it to you?
No, I hear what you're saying.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's hear it. Because you got to go get wood, right?
Right.
So here, I'm going to play the scene for you, okay? I'm going to do it so you can see. Hold on, so you can get it, brother. Astaghfirullah, auzu billah Muhammad rajim. That's why Muhammad's burning in hell for your sins. All right, right here. Okay, here. We're gonna play this out, okay? Okay, I'm gonna try to do it where there's this girl down, because we got to do this. Astaghfirullah. I'm too old for this, guys. Pray God gives me at least 20 more years to see my daughters grow up, because the way you're doing it, you're gonna send me an early grave. Okay, now I'm gonna have to pretend I got some imaginary friends. Man, I gotta get my face cleaner, bro. Shoot. Okay, here's the wood, right?
Yep.
This is the wood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be Abraham. I pick up the wood and then I give it to Isaac. Now I'm gonna pretend I'm Isaac. Here you go, Isaac. Thank you, Dad. Did that help?
Yeah, that helped.
One more time. Abraham is here.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to do two roles. So I'm Isaac. Hey, son. Yeah, Dad. Here you go. Now I'm going to be over here. Okay, thank you, Dad. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure you got it. Logos. Okay. So who carried the wood that would be used to execute him?
Isaac.
You sure you got it, brother? Please.
Oh yeah, I got
For
it.
my hope in humanity. Okay, now how does this point to Christ? John 19:17.
Yes.
They took Jesus, therefore, and he went out bearing his own cross. Like Isaac, Jesus carried the wood, the stake that would be used to execute him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making the connection?
Right. Isaac is a type of Jesus carrying the cross or carrying the wood he's going to be executed on.
Right? So you got it.
Yep.
So now another connection with Jesus. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
And he took in his hand the fire and the knife. So the two of them walked on together. Then Isaac spoke to Abraham, his father, and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." He said, "Behold, the fire and the wood. But where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" Notice the lamb, right?
Mhm.
Abraham said, "God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." So the two of them walked on together. And notice he said lamb, but instead a ram showed up. Then Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there was a ram after it had been caught in the thicket by its horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up for a burnt offering in the place of the sun. There was no lamb, there was a ram. What happened to the lamb? Now watch again. Abraham said, "God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son."
Oh.
But instead a ram showed up, right?
Right.
Why? Because here's the lamb. You ready? 2,000 years later, John the Baptist, on the next day, John 1:29, he saw Jesus coming to him and said, "Behold, the Lamb of God takes away the sin of the world." Here he is. Did you catch that, Daniel?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you notice Abraham is prophesying God will provide himself a lamb. And he did, Jesus Christ.
Right.
But that came in the future. Now, why did he give him a ram? Now let's look at it. Ram has two horns. Let's go to the imagery. Okay. Now you're going to see how the ram points to Christ too.
Okay.
Ram. Okay. Now watch here when we go to the images. How many horns does a ram have?
2.
Man, the fact you hesitated scared me. All right. 2 horns, right?
That's right.
Why a ram? Because horn represents king. Let me show you. Okay. Follow the imagery here. Don't
Okay.
lose me. A horn in the Bible points to king. Revelation 17:12. What does a horn represent? Revelation 17:12. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. So a horn represents what?
Kings.
So a horn. I know 10 horns are 10 kings. A horn represents what?
Kings. Or a king. I'm sorry. A king singular. My bad.
So a horn would represent what?
A king.
All right. 10 horns, which you saw are 10 kings who will not receive the kingdom, but receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. Okay. So a ram has 2 horns, but he's only one ram. Why? Because this points to Jesus being king of heaven and earth, as well as Israel and the nations.
Mm-hmm.
Why a ram? 2 horns, meaning this one to come, king of heaven, king of earth, king of the Israelites, king of the nations. You with me?
Yep.
But it was caught in a thicket. What does a thicket look like? What's a thicket? A thicket is a thorn bush. Okay, let me see. A thicket is a thorn bush. You know that, right? So his head was caught in thorns, right?
Right.
Now you got it. So I heard the awe. What did they place in Jesus?
Crown of thorns.
Oh, like the ram, horn means king. 2 horns, king of heaven and earth, Israel and the nations. Jesus had a crown made of thorns placed on his head, like the ram's horns were caught in a thorn bush.
That's incredible.
You see how it's all pointing to Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's wrap it up. Hope you got your answer. So the ram died in the place of his son, Isaac. just like Jesus dies in your place to spare us from God's wrath. But now, Abraham said something interesting in Genesis 22:14, because he was given a vision. He was given a vision. Watch here. What's the vision that he was given? Because I'm going to show what this points to. All right, let's do here. And then we're done. Now you see why. You see how deep this passage is, and yet your friend thought he found the contrary because he's just a special kind of stupid? Okay, let's see 2 Chronicles 3:1. Then Solomon began to build the house of Yahweh in Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, right? Mount
Right.
Moriah, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that temple was built to offer sacrifices, right?
Yes.
Where Yahweh had appeared to his father David at the place that David had prepared on threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. So notice, on Mount Moriah, Solomon built the temple where there would be sacrifices, which point to Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was Isaac offered up? On Mount Moriah.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Take now your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go forth to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I tell you. Mount Moriah, which became the future site of the temple, which is a picture of Christ. That's why Abraham called that site, Genesis 22:14. And Abraham called the name of that place, Yahweh will provide, as it is said this day, in the mount of Yahweh it will be provided. He saw the future. That's why.
Incredible.
That's why Jesus says this. Now you're going to understand what he meant. Jesus appeared to Abraham and they saw each other face to face, but Jesus also gave Abraham a vision of him coming to become the Lamb of God. That's why Jesus says in John 8:56, your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. There it is.
Wow.
Wow. A donkey, brother, is Jesus entering Jerusalem on the foal of a donkey, signifying peace, because it's a docile animal. But anyway, now you got your answer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that gave me more than enough information to explain that to him. Wow.
And good thing is, it's now recorded. You can go back, and I've done hundreds of sessions on it, and I have articles on it. So if you go to my YouTube channel, right here, and I think I put in, I think you got to see what's the words. You got it, because even I forget the titles. So I think I put Genesis 22. Let's see what comes up. Yep, here it is. The real Eid al-Adha, the gospel of Jesus in Genesis 22. Sam Shamoun, Abraham and Isaac pointed Jesus Christ our Lord, part 1. There you go. Part 2. Just put in Genesis 22. And in it, if you go to the description box, ironically, I'm wearing the same shirt. Damn. Guys, what are the odds? Look, same shirt, dude. Don't hate. And man, you better say, I mean, look, as Justice Lean. Same shirt, dude. Hold on, man. Why you hate? Isn't it? Look, is it ironic? Look, same shirt, man. You tell me that's not confirmation that you guys are losers? Honestly, you gotta tell me I look the same, don't I? Same?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, man.
Right, because I gotta lose some. But man, dude, oh, shoot, dude. And even with a beard too. Look, look, it's even the same beard, right? Guys, you tell me this is a coincidence? Damn, Gila. So there you go. You got it. Now over here, when you go here, why did I do this? Not to show you how handsome I am. I linked to the articles. There it is. All the articles related to it. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So is that it for you guys? You're okay? You're happy today?
Very happy. Thank you.
Sure.
Now, the rest of you, Antonio, servant of Christ, Lord willing, I'll come back tonight, do another Q&A. You guys come on first so I can take you first, because it's already close to 5 hours. I need to go out, do some errands, and walk so I can look better than these two losers. Remember, be proud that you're losers. You know why?
Why?
Because you lost your weight of sin.
Yes, sir.
So it's positive.
Yep.
So say, amen, I'm a loser. I lost the burn of sin.
Thank
All right?
All right.
Now
you.
it's
Son.
recorded. You